Hi, welcome to the Sawblade666 YouTube channel. I'm Daniel Sawblade.
And I'm Cartoon Ryan.
This will be the first video in a series of reviews we'll be doing for the channel. Mainly books, covering artists that we like. A lot of other things regarding art and artwork and
Just stuff that's influenced us over the years.
yeah, there's a lot of things that Ryan and I have in common as far as influences, but there's a lot of things that we don't, that we've kind of shown each other throughout the years, and those will be covered as well. But also just to learn from each other and to hopefully inform you guys out there about stuff you haven't heard of.
Yeah, just sharing content with anybody out there. It's just starving for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because as artists, I mean, that's the fuel. Whatever we see that influences us to get to that drawing table.
Yeah.
And produce. Today we're going to talk about a book by, or a graphic novel by James Herbert, and one of my favorite artists, Ian Miller.
Cool. Well, let's have at it.
All right, so this is the first thing we're going to dive in for our first ever review or flip through. So this is a graphic novel by James Herbert, who's a writer, a horror science fiction writer from the UK, which I wasn't familiar of because I'm not a huge novel reader. In fact, not at all. I don't know if you read
Not
novels
anymore
or,
like I used to. I used to get into stuff more.
I gotta say though, before we get too far into this was gifted to me by my awesome and amazing, wonderful other half, Abby Stabby. So I was thrilled to receive this because I'm a huge Ian Miller fan. You're not familiar with Ian Miller, are you?
Not too
Ryan?
much. Yeah.
I discovered his work through his illustrations for Games Workshop, which does the game Warhammer. And kind of like you with Basil Warburton, I saw his stuff even before I knew who he was, and it instantly hooked me.
Yeah. That's one of the things I love the most about discovering an artist that you instantly fall in love with, especially when you don't know who they are.
Right.
And it's like you go on this hunt to try to find who they were. And like you brought up Basil Wolverton, it took me like something like 18 or 19 years before I knew who he actually was.
Through me buying a book and telling you about it.
And
it's just so awesome how all that kind of connects together. But Ian Miller is still active to this day. He's in his mid-70s, by the way, and he still kicks ass.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Which is amazing. This was published, this was released in the mid-90s, 94, I believe, by, I think the publisher's also in the UK, was one I wasn't familiar with, Handbooks.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, let's dive into this. First of all, the cover. Jesus. I mean, the depth that's achieved, and what's crazy is that this work is colored. Normally his work isn't colored. It's usually black and white. And it doesn't need color because he's still able to achieve those levels of depth. But this happens to be colored, and it kind of even adds to it. But I read the story, and it's basically this apocalyptic, kind of this post-apocalyptic scenario where this lone, kind of militaristic, futuristic soldier paired with like these robotic, kind of cybernetic hounds or something kind of follow him around, and he stumbles upon this like ruined city. So the story is basically him just walking through this city trying to get out, and along the way he's faced with these little challenges throughout. It's a very fast read, but besides the story, we're here for the artwork. It's stuff like this that Ian Miller just really excels at. I don't know if people can see that, but it's just this truly otherworldly vistas, just these crazy landscapes, which every time I look at it always inspires me to delve more into landscape in my work. Crazy figure work here. Kind of a glare.
Yeah, there you go.
I hate to do that to this book. I don't want it to fall apart.
There you go.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, like, in this panel right here, the cityscape in the background, and you just see how, I'm assuming it's kind of just a post-apocalyptic nightmare, basically, hellscape.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see that, though. You see what was once a modern,
right,
New York City looking skyline.
Right, and this is like the guy at the entrance of it, where this warrior kind of approaches this kind of
Look at that expression.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
And what's also interesting about this is that I didn't know that Ian did any comics work. I've only seen illustrations, so that was another. I'd seen pieces of some of this work and other things out of context, but I didn't know it was from this, and it's just really interesting. But yeah, the armor design is kind of Baroque, like medieval-ish kind of vibe to it. Is really, but he'll throw in this technological modern thing, like this kind of World War I styled gas mask.
I was looking at the very front page and was thinking the same thing. It has that medieval kind of look to it, but kind of at the same time modern elements, at least from the last century, put in there.
For sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah, the reflection of also, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The color kind of obscures some of this line work. It's a really good coloring job. I don't know if he did it himself. Let me see if I go back. If he doesn't say, it just says illustrated. I'm sure he probably colored it himself.
Maybe
too,
so.
From what I understand, and then on closer inspection of Ian's work, he doesn't use screens or zipatone, meaning that a lot of comic artists and illustrators back in the day, some still do it, but there was like a screen that was applied to the panel, and that's what gave you your shading, where you get like different tonal grays and stuff. He's not doing that. That's all by hand. I don't think the camera can pick that up, but that tightly cross-hatched area in here is all done by hand. I mean, he's just picking away at it with a technical pen.
Yeah.
Look at this architecture.
That's what I was.
Bridge. Like,
that's what I was looking at. It's almost like a Central Park vibe or something.
Yeah.
It looks like the old school, like, Central Park bridges in there, and I've never been to Central Park myself, but it has that vibe, like the statues and columns from the park when it was first put together.
Right. But that's at the entrance of this city. This guy on this tower chair type, like a lifeguard chair almost.
Yeah.
But this is some really good storytelling here, because he's sitting there and he sees this warrior approach with these two, his two mechanical hounds, and then you see the reflection of the city in his gas mask goggle. He's approaching that guard or whatever, and then that's him walking towards the city that you
Yeah.
see the reflection of. And then there's this bridge that he's crossing after he passes this. I don't know, just the flow of it is really well done.
It's very powerful storytelling because he's basically a movie director. Almost all comic book artists that do dynamic comics, you're basically your own director. And to do iconic shots like this one, where that's movie theater quality stuff. That's what a director does. They zoom in,
right,
and stuff like that to me is just so captivating. It's so powerful.
A reoccurring theme in a lot of Ian's work. See this like mechanical looking fish thing? He draws these a lot.
How strange.
And here it is in this story, just randomly placed there in the wreckage of this scenery. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. Just look at that.
Yeah, that's insane how detailed
every
that is.
every window.
Yeah, every brick in the bridge.
Every brick in the bridge is drawn.
Is represented. And
the colors are really,
well, it sets the tone.
They're really powerful together.
Yeah.
This dark blue with this red. I mean, I'm not an expert on color theory at all, but I know what I like when I see it, and this is really visually pleasing to me.
Well, it gives you that post-apocalyptic vibe too, like a red sky. It's like after the world's been transformed into what it is now. You can see that it's just
bluish gray could be translated as like smoke or ruin,
and decay.
Look at these rat type guards. I don't know if you can tighten up on that shot, but that's really dark and it's really evil looking. And then here we come to the cover of the book without any titles on it. Without the titles.
It almost looks like remember after 9/11 how everything was just torn up. It looks like that. It looks like bombed out.
And then right in the middle of it, you have a dead tree. Like on a little patch of like what was some soil or ground, like this was under it. You know? Really,
that's powerful stuff.
Really amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So he advances into this city, and then these like mutated, rat-like mutant people that are kind of left over from the population come out and greet him. And then
brutal, man.
The mayhem ensues. He starts sparring with them.
One thing I'm noticing right off the bat, because this is my first time ever seeing this, that's what I love about doing these, is we're going to show stuff to each other that we've never seen,
right? And
including anybody viewing. It's what's cool about this is how it's amazing, because there's very limited dialogue in this. He's telling the story through all of his images, and that is so challenging for me personally to do. Right. That is a super challenging task to show this guy on his journey of walking across these piles of old, ruins, and then here he's encountering, what's left over, people mutated or whatever they are, they're the remnants. It's powerful.
My guess is that he was following the script that James Herbert
wrote. But to do that, though, in images is amazing. Right. And to lay it all out, that's still one of these things of this day that I've had a struggle with personally.
Well, because you're using pictures
also
to tell a story, and that has to tell a story. It can't just be, oh, that's a nice illustration.
Yeah.
It's got to give the view. I mean, sometimes things can be really text heavy without it needing to be.
Yes.
And what were you going to say?
I was going to say another thing that's just popping out at me right now, just off the bat, is the panels, especially on this left page. I mean, look at that. He's got it cutting across diagonal this way. He's got a triangle here in the middle with this guy's face. I mean, that's just really cool.
You're right. And
It's so badass.
it's crazy panel layout, but
Yeah.
without it not telling the story, because I think there's a lot of problems, especially with, a lot of the early 90s image type stuff where it just looks like someone threw up on a page with all the panels going everywhere, all crazy. This still has like...
Well, he's dividing it up with the white space.
It still has a flow to it.
Yes.
You know what's going on.
I'm a big fan of everything being sectional and compartmentalized because, like you said, with the old image stuff, they went and it kind of carries on to this day. It started, I noticed, with the image type stuff, but in the 90s, a lot of the layout was just everything bleeding into one thing. It was confusing sometimes.
Right. I think you can get too crazy with the panel layouts.
I think one page is fine like that, but when you do your whole book like that, it gets tough.
Well, and like you said, it's got to tell a story.
Yeah.
What's perfect about it, you see him advancing on this pipe, okay?
Yeah.
But it zooms in on his face.
Yes, that's powerful. That's really cool.
To show it's him, and then... Yeah.
And then like
a
right
close-up
here,
of who he's seeing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's I mean, those are camera shots. Those are close-ups, cinematic close-ups.
I don't know if we can get in on this, but I love the design of these mechanical dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can kind of see.
Yeah.
It's just really unique design elements to this.
Yeah.
Here we go into some action where he's fighting these mutated cannibal rat people. And the guns, like the weaponry, is really interesting. It almost looks like more like a tool, like an old
That's what I was
bolt machine, like an old
Yeah, it's what I was going to say. It looks like he welded different things together. They put different pieces of machinery together to create weapons. They just forged it out of whatever scraps they could find.
Like this thing on his shoulder pad here looks like a gear from like some other type of machine.
It's really cool, and it makes sense in a way too, because if the world's on its a reset from what we were the modern times to this later post-apocalypse scenario, that's kind of how it would go. You just dig for scraps,
right?
So it's pretty cool that he did that in the story.
So as he kicks this little band of mutants, he kicks their ass, and then he offs this one, throws him off this cliff here, and they advance. He keeps advancing into the city, and this almost like a dreamlike state to this scenery as he's walking towards the hallways are kind of warped, and look there's like this weird
Vladimir Putin looking dude.
You can kind of tell that they're looking at him the way he's they're all looking at him walking into the city.
That's a great scene because it's his point of view.
Right. And they almost look like they're starving or ravaged with disease and stuff. And look, one of them's eating a rat.
Yeah. As
he's walking by and he's looking at it.
He almost, if you look at this guy, he almost looks like either an android or he doesn't even look like a person. Just about. He's so covered in mechanical stuff. Like his arms look like like droid arms or something.
Right.
It's really cool. Man, that's insane.
As I was saying earlier, this was a quick read, obviously, because the text is like minimal. But it's so interesting because it just shows you don't need a million word. I mean, you need what you need to tell the story.
Yeah.
And this tells it so great. It was a great read. Not just because it was easy to read, but it was really entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Man, isn't that crazy? That's amazing. The
progression. You see how he's going deeper and deeper into the city as you turn the page.
Yeah.
He's like in these weird kind of alleyways.
People begging that guy. It's like a rat person or something.
Yeah, it's like all these mutated rat people.
Yeah. That is gnarly right there. I'm going to zoom in on that.
You got the greens and these blues and purples. really cool.
I really like the color choices in this because, like going to this side, you see the blues and the grayish kind of background, but then he's red with his dog
Yeah.
creatures. That's so cool. It's
Stands
just,
out.
Yeah, look like red with yellows. That's really cool.
Cool choice.
Yeah, it's more. He's doing more with less. You know,
I mean,
that's amazing.
the street scene here.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like you can almost hear all this. You know, that's how powerful it is.
I like how I've tried to do this in my work too. Maybe it's because of him, I don't know, but dropping in these little faces and just places.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a
Yeah, it's a
almost
cool
like
detail.
a gargoyle element to it.
Yeah, that's the things that it's kind of going into that Jeff Darrow type territory is how detailed each piece of of the buildings are, all the just the
It is.
the debris, the wreckage.
I would say it's very detailed, but
Yeah.
also loose in a way,
Yeah,
which I think the Jeff Darrow element that you're getting
he's
is how,
clean and tight. Yeah,
is how much there is in one panel
yeah.
in some cases.
I mean, look at
but
this especially, like all this going
yeah.
on.
Some of this stuff, like very Geiger-esque.
Yes.
Giger.
Yeah, a lot
whatever
of
you say his name.
a lot of tubes and just weird scales and things. It's real uninviting. That's really powerful. I'll push it over this. Yeah. I love these wide shots he does
Yeah.
on some pages. Like, that's really cool. It's zoomed in on this rat walking alongside everybody. That's really cool.
And like I said, I've only known him through his book illustrations,
Mm-hmm.
like in gaming books, and yeah, he did some. A lot of his stuff was used. The band Bolt Thrower.
Oh, yeah.
That
Love
a lot.
Bolt Thrower,
A
man.
lot of his stuff was repurposed for that band. Like different sleeve artwork and T-shirts and stuff. But
Yeah.
this is like unlike any other comic work that I mean I'd ever seen. That's why this was such a pleasant surprise, because
Yeah.
I had no idea this dude did a comic.
Yeah,
I
it was
hope
like
he has done more.
Yeah, like I've said, this is like definitely my first time seeing it, so it's really cool.
Look at this vehicle.
Yeah. Old bus. Really old bus. So
And it's the only thing in this that to me would be any kind of connection to reality, because everything else,
well,
like
the skyline was the other thing for me.
it looks, I mean,
The
it's so twisted and
Yeah.
otherworldly like, but
Yeah.
then you have like this bus that looks like it's from the 1930s. That's so
Yeah.
awesome.
It's like you
know?
have snippets of things that show that, there was a former,
Right.
modern world out there, and there's just, a little bit of the.
Sorry for the glare, guys,
That's cool.
but there, I don't want to push this book and like
Yeah.
crack the, but for the sake of showing everybody, that's just really creepy to me.
Yeah.
This design element of the gas mask and helmet motif, but it looks like a creature almost, the way he draws it.
It's a really cool concept, though, to keep this main character and his two companions in a red shade like that. That's interesting. You don't see that too often in things.
Here, the work gets really loose
Mm-hmm.
compared to other panels that we've seen,
Yeah.
but it's not in any way. What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't take away
Yeah.
or diminish what we saw.
It still has that same feel.
There's an
you know?
energy to it, you know. Look at the motion in this panel of the rats, like moving,
Yeah. No,
running.
he does great. It's a great use of it. I mean, if you had a camera filming this, great shots throughout.
Yeah, it's real cinematic. I agree.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good sequence right there. He's just unloading. These mechanical dogs that he has with him are pretty crazy too. That's wild, man.
Again, with the use of, I think it really helps. Like
Yeah.
there he is. Whenever he's in a setting,
He stands out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here though they didn't do the red.
Yeah, it's
Because
interesting.
you can see it's only him in this
Yeah.
panel, but when you
Yeah.
have it in other elements combined,
Yeah, it's
Right.
interesting when he chooses to do it. Like the dogs are red, he's not. But then right throughout, right here he is. It's interesting how he switches it off. Really cool concept.
Dude, I love the way this is drawn.
Yeah.
Just the helmet and that gas mask and that gun.
Yeah.
It looks like a construction site tool.
Yeah, it's really
You know?
cool. Just scraps, man. Just scraps of
It's
machines
really good.
and tools that they have left over. Yeah, super dynamic stuff. I love scenes like this. That's just
It almost has like a Ralph Bosky vibe.
yeah, it
doesn't
does. Yeah. Really does.
Really good way to frame this panel. Mm-hmm. With this leftover leg of a bridge or building or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bus is in the distance.
Yeah, that's so
And
awesome.
then you have him in the mid ground.
It really
Not
does.
quite foreground.
It captures the ruins of a world long gone. It
Yeah.
really does capture that.
I love the
Yeah.
gloomy, kind of dismal view here.
And the red sky is that's so awesome. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so consistent throughout. And then having the blues and it really sets the mood. The colors are huge in this. Even though he doesn't use too many, it's a big part of the storytelling, it looks like.
Here he's shooting or trying to fend off some people coming at him, and then he turns his head, and then behind him are these like mutated rats, and they're chasing him.
And once again, man, these panels, I love this
Good
weird
panel layout.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's just unconventional, There we go again.
There's another bomb
massive. Look at that.
Cityscape.
That's incredible. What an look. There's like a train track right there.
Yeah.
Like I guess like the elevated train just destroyed. Look at that. He's leaning against the bricks right here.
Oh, those bricks
That's
look really
that's
awesome.
powerful, man.
Yeah. I love how here in the distance, the show distance, they have like that mist or smoke.
Yeah.
I was looking at this and I was wondering, like, what did he use to color this? Because
That's a good
it
question.
looks like ink wash, but then that doesn't look like ink wash. This
Yeah.
looks like kind of like acrylic paint or something.
Yeah, I have no idea on that.
But I wouldn't
that'd
say
be,
that's paint.
That'd be cool to see his process if he ever.
Well, like I said, the bulk of his work is not color. It's always black and white, pen and ink. Just,
Well, he did a great job putting colors on this. 'Cause,
yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it's really well done.
It's really grimy and really it sets the tone for the story.
The whole giant rat thing, it's really...
And the rats' faces are just terrifying. They almost look like people in the face, like a kind of a...
Well, and then there was some rat people. They were like
Yeah,
mutated
some
rats.
people were kind of rat-like. It's interesting.
So all this is happening as he's like kind of on his journey, on his way through this city. And I guess, you know, it gives them the opportunity to really create some cool environments.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
You know, coming down like this subway type looking
Yeah,
tunnel, and
it's
then
like
there's this big metal door he opens and goes through. It's just, the light on his helmet, you know, kind of gives off like a miner's helmet vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, here's some good storytelling. The light is on his helmet, and then as he's panning across the ceiling, you see some like mutated, like
creeping through the little valleys in there.
Mutated like civilians kind of crawling through there. Really creepy.
And then right there, man, that's some weird stuff too.
Oh, and then it disappears. The next panel, he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah, that's terrifying.
Oh, and he runs into that. That'd be crazy to run into.
Yeah, that's really scary looking stuff, man. I love it.
And then there's a sense of claustrophobia as they're all crowding around him through this tunnel.
Yeah, he's running out of space.
Mutants and stuff. Like,
yeah.
He gives one a good, you know, comic book punch in this
blows that one through his chest. Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I was right. Subway. It's like he's in the subway now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with the design of these dogs is really, really cool looking.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look. So these like
that is gnarly,
corpses,
dude. They're just vaporized,
undead. I love the way he does skulls.
So I'm assuming that just a bomb just went off.
Yeah,
and everybody was frozen where they were when the bomb went off, and this is the remnants of it. That's so cool.
You're either mutated or you're dead.
Yeah, and these are all dead in this subway.
Yeah, they're like cannibal.
Yeah,
they're like cannibal mutated. You know,
that's just wretched right there. Now he's starting to introduce like yellows in here in the skyline.
He comes up through this park and there's this like, you know, leftover scavenger. Oh, well, look, they come up through this manhole. Him and his dogs, you know, and then they're walking and then they come across like this leftover. It's kind of like a park area.
Yeah,
there's like this scavenger guy on this park bench. Hiya, bleak day, isn't it?
That's an understatement. That's really cool, man. It's just the remnants of a park. Just total ruin. Just nothing left.
He unmasks himself here.
Oh, okay.
Which is really interesting. He goes into this, exchanges words with that guy, then comes to this other building, and there's like this creepy... the skeletal remains of a girl.
Yeah.
He undoes his mask and you get to see his face, which is also really interesting. This might be a piece that I had already previously seen.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of the others, the bulk of it was all new to me. But
yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, he almost doesn't even look like a person until he takes that mask off.
And even then, he still has like a really creepy
kind
of vibe.
Yeah, looking malnourished a bit.
Look at this design, or this detail here. The dog has like a doll in its mouth.
Oh yeah, he sure does. He has like a little chew toy or something in his mouth. Even the mechanical dogs need their chew toys. Oh, wow. It's interesting to see now how the colors are changing too.
Yeah.
It's less monotone on him.
This is creepy. Like, okay, he's talking to this lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dog still has the doll, but
yeah.
she's holding what appears to be like her baby. And it's like some mutated.
Oh,
rat
see,
person.
there it is. Let me zoom in on that. That's terrifying. Look
Right?
at that thing, dude. Ooh. My baby.
He kills it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dude, that's harsh. Man, that is crazy, dude.
This to me appears to be some cut and paste of photos.
That's what I was wondering. Is that an actual photograph?
I think
Because
that's a photo.
interesting.
He kind of collaged it with maybe some other stuff he did, which I think is clever. You know, Jack Kirby used to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Some of the
Later in his career, he experimented like with photocopies when that was a new technology.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of funny. Now that's like antiquated technology.
Just about, yeah. Just a horde of rats.
This is pretty cool. I see him do this a lot in his work where there's like a face that, a road going into like a giant head.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I'm assuming the mode of transport is just foot.
Yeah, he's
It's
walking
not
through
Road
this.
Warriors type stuff going on.
No. It's just him literally walking through this city
Yeah.
and coming across whatever chaotic thing that happens. Like this
It's got
is
a
crazy.
flamethrower.
Yeah, he has a flamethrower now. They don't explain that unless he
Yeah.
picked it up somewhere. But well, this is cool. Look at that.
Yeah.
His faces again.
And that just, him going into that face like that is just brutal. So, just, it's powerful.
So he loses his dogs. Like one fights with a rat, and they fall off this cliff. Look, they get impaled.
Oh, man, that's messed up, man.
Look at that.
Dude, that is...
That's like some main rat god type thing.
That is awesome.
In the bowels of like this city. And then I
Is
guess
it
that's why he goes
two-headed?
in.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a two-headed monster.
That's funny. I just drew a 3-headed rat.
Yeah.
Or no, it was a bat. And he
Oh,
just
dude, that
roasted
is...
like they're crazy.
That is some powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
I'll go back and say it again. Like I said earlier, these panel layouts are really neat. It's
Here he finds a motorcycle, so there is some mechanized
okay.
stuff. He uses it to get out of the city.
Tons of rats, it looks like, running. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the guy at the beginning.
Yeah, on the little...
What was it like? What's it like in there, traveler?
You don't want to know. Yeah, that's super dynamic stuff, man.
So he had a look at this. Look, oh, this is great. So he's leaving, and then the guy asks him that, and then look at this example of great storytelling. He reaches into this bag he has and throws him one of those mutant rats, and it kills the guy. So he got to find out what it's like in there.
Yeah.
Look how it ends. Isn't that great?
Wow. Man, here. Yeah, there you go. That is... That last scene right there is amazing. And what is that in the background? Is that just some kind of random... First I thought it was a Statue of Liberty or something. But I couldn't tell. That's really cool, man. That's a good find.
Yeah.
Especially since that's my first time seeing it.
Really cool artist. Really great book if you can find it. It's kind of rare. It's not it's out there, but it's going to be kind of pricey. But you can, I think Ian Miller's work in general is kind of hard to find. There is an art book that was printed, I think 9-10 years ago, 8 maybe.
Yeah.
That's still pretty available. It's called The Art of Ian Miller. And then pretty much all the stuff with Games Workshop that was published is out of print.
Yeah.
But he does have a website, and he's kind of active on Instagram. So just look him up, check it out. But anyway, I thought this would be a good one for a first review because it's not, it wasn't so massive that, be hard to get through.
Yeah, totally.
But just enough in here to showcase what his work is all about.
Definitely cool.
Anyway.
Well, that was my first time seeing that
Awesome.
comic, and really just any type of Ian Miller stuff in depth. So hopefully for those out there that are watching, this is something cool that sparked your interest too. And thanks for tuning in. We'll be back at it with another review.
And do us a
soon.
favor, if you like it,
Mm-hmm.
hit that like button and subscribe.
Subscribe and share. Yep.
And we'll see you on Thursdays. We're still doing live draw chat too.
Definitely.
So
cool. Catch you
awesome.
later.
See ya.